Hey friends, Leigh Brown here with My Kitchen, My Rules, and if you've already remembered, we're having a Southern cheer thing here, which is basically just vodka and Cheerwine. That's not Cheerwine for your kids, by the way, and if you didn't know because you're a Yankee or from somewhere else, Cheerwine's not a liquor drink, that's a soda, and my Kentucky friends are, I'm sure, going to comment in how that was their drink first, and Cheerwine snuck over to North Carolina, and y'all used to call it something else. There's a whole bunch of rumors about it, but we have had it since 1917, thank you, up in Rowan County in Salisbury. So it's ours now. So what we're gonna make today is a Cheerwine poke cake. And if you never had a poke cake before, basically you make a cake, poke holes in it, and put some liquid on the top. So we're gonna use a white cake mix, which calls for 3 eggs. So let's put in 3 eggs. Now it says you could use egg whites if you're trying to be healthy, but let's be honest, if you're going to have a cake that is filled up with soda, why in the world would you have any illusions about this being healthy? I just don't know that cake was meant to be healthy, friends, and so just, you know, suspend all your disbelief and drink a cocktail with me and lighten up a little bit. The world needs to lighten up a little bit, except when it comes to desserts, in which case you need to just enjoy your sweets, because you know what they say, you can eat right, exercise, and die anyway. Now, our recipe calls for a cup of water, but the secret here is to take the water out and put in a cup of Cheerwine instead. Now, if you live somewhere else in the country, then frankly, I can't help you because I don't know what you have to drink. I guess you could use some cherry flavored, I don't know, Shasta or not Rite Aid. What was that stuff called? We had Shasta, was our off brand, and there was something else. There's I don't know, I'm trying to think. I can't think of y'all's regional sodas, but the box of cake mix calls for 1/3 cup of oil. And there we go. Lord, I'm short a little bit of oil. What do I have over here that can finish that off? Let's see. Well, I do need to grease my pan. I guess I should just pause that right here and restart in a second, because that's just not working. Okay, friends, now that we have located my second container of oil, right? It's just very dramatic. It's 1/3 cup of oil we're putting in here to make our cake mix out of a box. Now, if you know me, I don't normally use things out of a box because while we've been at home cooking with the coronavirus, I have become kind of a snob again about my homemade stuff. And for any of y'all that know that I try to cut the sugar around here, look, it's a dessert. So it's just, I don't like the hidden sugars. I don't mind the ones that are sitting right out front. It's like having that crazy cousin or aunt in your family. Look, in the north or in the west, y'all might hide your crazy family members, but in the south, honey, we put them right on the front porch and brag about them. And I have a friend watching this video right now who is probably giving me a silent cheers and an amen because she still can't believe which one of my family members is driving her completely slap crazy. So after we have that mixed up, and I'm sure the children will be over here in a minute to lick the beaters, because isn't that a job in your house too, where everybody wants to fight to lick the beaters? I would normally get my Crisco out, but then I have to open another container. So we're going to grease the bottom of the pan. And y'all, you should always grease the bottom of your cake pan. If you're leaving little chunks and bits behind, it's frankly your own fault for not greasing your pan. So let's make sure we got our oven, which is, of course, if you watch my channel, you know it's set at 350 degrees because everything cooks at 350. So I'll be back with y'all as soon as the cake is ready. I almost forgot to show y'all one step before I put this in the oven. You need to take maraschino cherries and chop them up into, I don't know, whatever size you like, pieces, and then put them into your cake batter so that you will have some beautiful chunky bits of maraschino cherry to go with the rest of your Cheerwine flavor cake. Now I'll see you after it comes out of the oven. Okay, so while our cake is in the oven for this Cheerwine poke cake, the next step is to get your gelatin ready, which is what you're going to pour over the cake when it comes out. So we're going to use cherry Jello. And by the way, you should be aware, you're going to look guilty of making this Cheerwine cake for some time because there's a lot of red dye, number 40 and all this stuff. So if you're allergic to these dyes, you should probably not make this recipe. Instead, just drink something with no color in it. I don't know what you would do instead. But anyway, what I've got on the stove right now, we are boiling 1.5 cups of Cheerwine. So to bring it to a boil, and it's tricky because it's over here bubbling because it's carbonated, but it ain't boiling yet. So make sure you're watching for your rolls. And then we're going to put in our gelatin. take it off the heat and stir it until all the little particles are dissolved. And then we're gonna wait till our cake comes out of the oven for our next step. See, here's what it looks like.
I had 4 trumps and
Okay, now our cake is out of the oven. So the next thing you do is get your toothpick and start poking holes in it. It says about every 2 inches in the recipe, but I just imagine you just poke it wherever you want to poke it as often as you wish to. In fact, take out your frustrations on the coronavirus and poke it a lot, because wherever you put a hole in the cake, that's where your little liquid mixture is going to go. So rocket scientists of the world, just know that if you don't poke it in enough places, you're going to be sending me comments being like, it wasn't even. Don't be starting to be a fuss budget. So then we have our mixture here, which I showed y'all before. This is the Cheerwine just with the gelatin in it. We're just going to pour it across the top and watch it soak in so nice and even. Use up all your liquid on the whole Cheerwine cake here. And yes, this is going to cool it in the pan. No, you're not turning this thing out on a wire rack. Those of y'all that are fancy cooks, this ain't a fancy cake. This is the kind of cake you make for a pig picking or a homecoming or normal people. And so what we're going to do after we put all of this on top, we're fixing to set it in the refrigerator and let it sit in there until it's cooled off, which could be hours for you, or if your refrigerator's not working properly, it could be days. I'm not going to judge if you need to get a new refrigerator, but probably should have got a home warranty. And so now you can see what it looks like. It's bright red. I can touch the pan right away. I'll see y'all for the next step here just in a little bit. Hello, grasshoppers. You have been so patient, and now your cake is almost done. It's just about to come out of the refrigerator so that you can put the last toppings on. Because remember, it's got to be plenty cold with all of that sauce thrown in. Get a pint of heavy whipping cream and put it into your stand mixer. Now, if you live in a house without a stand mixer, you need to go buy one, because this will be your friend for years. And then you won't be like my friend 𝘾𝙃𝘼𝘾𝙃, who I saw on Facebook, y'all. Her stand mixer died after like 20 years of service. And I really felt like sending a sympathy card, because I love this thing. I've had mine for 15 years now. My cousin Cindy gave it to me when she stayed with me for a while. That was her thank you for letting her stay at my house when she was doing an internship. I put in about a ½ cup or so of powdered sugar. And then we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of that maraschino cherry juice. So, you know, you can't waste that juice. And y'all shouldn't be drinking that straight, but put it in your children's Coca-Cola to have a Roy Rogers, or in their Sprite to have a Shirley Temple. And now we're going to put our stand mixer on a medium speed. And we're going to mix it until we have stiff peaks. No jokes, no funny business, friends. Stiff peaks are actually when your cream stands up and holds still. If you lift up the peaks and it falls down, those are soft peaks. And I think that's what Frank Thomas is advertising on television on the Game Show Network, but I don't really know what's happening in Frank Thomas's life with that eugenics and stuff, where he winks about how his wife is happy. But anyway, you want stiff peaks, not soft peaks. And if it won't peak, add in a little bit more powdered sugar. But it's going to take it 3 to 4 minutes before it starts to get there, so have a little more patience. And when this is in our peak form, we're going to put it on the cake, and you'll see how beautiful this is. And I totally forgot to turn the camera on to show y'all putting the whipped cream on top of your sheet cake pan. And of course, I made a C out of the top cherries for a little bit of decoration for your Cheerwine poke cake. Watch out, your family's going to eat the whole thing in one sitting, and it's worth it.